Aria's journey begins as the sun rose over the serene mountain landscape, casting a warm, golden glow. Upon the world below, Aria stepped out of her cozy cabin and took in a deep breath. The crisp, clean air filled her lungs, invigorating her senses as she gazed upon the breathtaking scenery before her. She couldn't believe she was finally here at this secluded mountain retreat. Ready to embark on an exciting journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth, Aria had left behind the stressful city life that had consumed her for far too long. The constant noise, pollution, and endless demands from work and personal relationships had taken a toll on her well-being. She was grateful for the opportunity to disconnect from it all and immerse herself in this peaceful environment where she could focus solely on her inner journey. As she walked along the winding path leading to the main retreat center, Aria noticed other participants arriving as well. They hailed from diverse backgrounds and cultures, their faces reflecting a mix of curiosity, anticipation, and trepidation. Despite this variety, there was an underlying sense of unity among them, a shared purpose that brought them all together on this remote mountaintop. Finally, Aria reached the main building where she found a shop. The experienced spiritual guide who would be leading their retreat. He greeted her warmly with a smile and a gentle handshake. "Welcome to our humble abode, Aria," he said in his soothing voice. "I'm glad you could join us on this transformative journey." Feeling excited and optimistic about the days ahead, Aria followed Ashok into the retreat center, where they gathered in a cozy meditation room for orientation. As they sat down on comfortable cushions, Ashok began to explain the various spiritual practices they would be exploring during their time at the retreat. These included calming meditation techniques, loving-kindness meditation, dream-walking exercises, and more. Throughout the orientation, Aria listened intently, her heart filled with eagerness to learn and grow. She couldn't wait to dive into these practices and experience the transformative effects they promised. As Ashok finished his introduction, he looked around the room at the eager faces of the participants before offering a final word of encouragement. "Remember," he said with a serene smile, "this retreat is about embracing your authentic self and connecting with the divine within you. Let go of any expectations or preconceived notions, and allow yourself to be guided by your heart's desires. The journey may not always be easy, but I assure you, it will be worth it." With that, Aria felt ready to begin her spiritual adventure at the mountain retreat. She couldn't wait to explore these new practices and discover the depths of her own being. As she followed Ashok into the next meditation session, she felt a sense of anticipation and excitement bubbling up within her, knowing that this experience would change her life in ways she could hardly imagine. As Aria took her seat for the orientation, she couldn't help but notice the diverse group of participants around her. There were people from different age groups, ethnicities, and professions, each with their own unique backgrounds and expectations about the retreat. This variety made her feel both excited and slightly nervous, wondering if she would be able to connect with them on a deeper level during their time here. Ashok began the orientation by introducing himself and outlining the structure of the retreat. He explained that they would spend each day engaging in various spiritual practices such as meditation, loving-kindness exercises, and dream-walking. Despite his warm demeanor and soothing voice, Aria found it challenging to connect with him on an emotional level. It was clear that he had a wealth of experience and knowledge in this field, but there was something intangible missing for her. As Ashok continued to speak about the different practices they would be exploring, Aria found herself focusing more on the participants around her than on his words. She observed their reactions, expressions, and body language as they listened attentively. Some seemed deeply engaged, nodding along or asking insightful questions. Others appeared more reserved, their faces betraying little emotion as they sat quietly. Aria felt a mix of emotions throughout the orientation. On one hand, she was fascinated by the variety of backgrounds represented in the group and excited about learning from each other's experiences. On the other hand, she struggled to find common ground with anyone specific. It was clear that everyone had their own reasons for being here and their own expectations of what they would gain from this retreat. Finally, Ashok concluded the orientation and invited the participants to join him in their first meditation session. As Aria followed him into the meditation room, She couldn't shake off a nagging feeling of uncertainty about her fit within the group. She wondered if she would be able to form meaningful connections during their time at the mountain retreat, or if she would always remain on the periphery. With these thoughts swirling in her mind, Aria took her seat and began to focus on her breathing, trying to clear her head and immerse herself in the first meditation session of many that lay ahead. As Ashok led Aria into the serene meditation room, she took a deep breath, attempting to calm her mind and focus on the present moment. The room was filled with the scent of incense, creating an ambient atmosphere that encouraged relaxation. There were several comfortable cushions arranged in a circle on the floor, inviting participants to sit cross-legged or however they felt most at ease. Ashok took his seat at the front of the room and began to speak softly, guiding Aria through the practice of mindfulness meditation. He instructed her to focus on her breath, observing its rhythm and texture as it entered and left her body. As she concentrated on her breathing, Ashok also encouraged her to be aware of any thoughts or sensations that arose within her without getting caught up in them. As Aria practiced mindfulness meditation under Ashok's guidance, she found herself becoming more attuned to the subtle changes happening within her body and mind. Her breath slowed down and her muscles relaxed, allowing her to feel more connected to herself. The constant chatter in her head began to subside, replaced by a sense of calm and inner peace. Throughout the session, Ashok provided gentle guidance when needed, ensuring that Aria remained focused on the present moment. His soothing voice and expertise in meditation helped create a safe space for her to explore her thoughts and feelings without judgment. After what felt like an eternity of stillness and introspection, Ashok brought the session to a close by, guiding Aria through a short transcendental meditation practice. In this more advanced technique, she focused on a mantra, a repeated word or phrase that helped her achieve a state of deeper relaxation and inner awareness. As the meditation ended, Aria felt refreshed and rejuvenated, with a newfound appreciation for the calming power of these ancient practices. She looked forward to further exploring mindfulness and transcendental meditation, as well as other spiritual techniques, under Ashok's guidance during her stay at the mountain retreat. Aria sat cross-legged on a soft cushion in the serene meditation room, her eyes closed and her breath slow and steady. The familiar scent of incense filled the air as Ashok began to guide them through another meditation session. This time, however, it was loving kindness meditation, a practice designed to cultivate genuine love and compassion within one's heart. As Ashok led her through the process, Aria found herself struggling once again with connecting to the practice. It seemed impossible for her to extend kindness towards herself, let alone others. She felt frustrated and self-critical, questioning whether she was even capable of experiencing the intended benefits of loving kindness meditation. Focus on someone you care about. Ashok's soothing voice echoed in her mind. Visualize their face and send them feelings of love and warmth. Aria tried to follow his advice, conjuring up images of her friends and family members. However, instead of feeling love and compassion welling up within her, she only felt a hollow sensation in her chest. She doubted the effectiveness of this particular practice and wondered if it was even worth pursuing. As the session drew to a close, Aria opened her eyes, feeling disheartened and discouraged. She looked around at the other participants, who seemed to be experiencing varying degrees of success with their meditation practices. James appeared deeply connected, his face serene and peaceful. Maya seemed lost in thought, her artistic nature perhaps translating well into visualization techniques. Aria glanced over at Mark, who was scribbling furiously in his journal, and Eva, who looked introspective yet concerned about integrating these practices into her professional life as a psychologist. They all seemed to be making progress on their spiritual journeys, leaving Aria feeling like an outsider and questioning whether she would ever find the ability to connect with loving-kindness meditation or any other practice offered at the retreat. Despite her doubts, Aria decided to continue practicing loving-kindness meditation, hoping that with time and patience, she might eventually find the ability to connect with the practice and experience its intended benefit. There had to be something valuable in it for everyone else. Perhaps she just needed more guidance or personal insight to unlock its potential within herself. Aria's heart raced with excitement as she made her way towards the serene meditation room in the evening. The sun had set hours ago, casting an ethereal glow over the mountaintop retreat. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of pine needles and damp earth. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the clean, invigorating air as she prepared for another dream-walking exercise inside the meditation room. Ashok led them through a brief guided relaxation before beginning the evening's dream-walking session. The process was similar to previous nights. They were instructed to focus on their breath and visualize themselves standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to leap into the void beneath them. As they plummeted downwards, they would enter into the world of dreams, where anything was possible. Aria closed her eyes and followed Ashok's guidance, imagining herself at the precipice of the cliff. With a deep breath, she leapt off the edge, feeling her body weightless and free as she fell through the inky blackness below. Suddenly, she found herself surrounded by vivid colors and shapes, the dreamscape unfolding before her like an intricate tapestry. She wandered through lush forests filled with mystical creatures, climbed towering mountains that seemed to stretch towards the heavens, and swam in crystal-clear oceans teeming with life. Each landscape was more breathtaking than the last, igniting her curiosity and sense of wonder. Throughout these adventures, Aria encountered various spiritual beings who offered guidance, wisdom, and insight into the true nature of reality. As the dream-walking session came to an end, Ashok's voice gently brought Aria back to the meditation room. She opened her eyes, feeling refreshed and invigorated. The experiences she had just gone through were unlike anything she had ever encountered before. Her heart swelled with gratitude for this unique opportunity to explore her subconscious mind and connect with her spiritual self. "That was incredible," Aria breathed, looking around at the other participants who shared similar expressions of awe and wonder. She felt an unshakable certainty that these dream-walking exercises held immense potential for personal growth and self-discovery, and she couldn't wait to embark on more adventures in the realm of dreams. From now on, Aria eagerly anticipated each evening's dream-walking session, looking forward to uncovering more about her subconscious and spiritual self through these extraordinary experiences. The mountaintop retreat had reignited her interest in spirituality, and she felt certain that the insights and wisdom gained from these journeys would resonate with her for years to come. Aria sat cross-legged on a plush meditation cushion, her eyes closed as she focused on the sensation of inhaling and exhaling. The calming water feature nearby created a soothing white noise, helping to clear her mind and enhance her focus. Ashok, her guide for this session, began by leading her through deep breathing exercises designed to help ground her in the present moment. As she inhaled, Aria felt her abdomen expand, filling with air. As she exhaled, she released any tension or anxiety that might have been lingering within her body. With each breath, she became more aware of her surroundings, the gentle rise and fall of her chest, the warmth of the meditation hall, the soft rustling of fabric as other participants shifted their positions. Ariadne's mind began to wander less, and she found herself becoming more attuned to the sensations in her body. She could feel the blood flowing through her veins, the tension in her muscles beginning to dissipate. Her thoughts became clearer, less cluttered by worries and doubts. As she continued to focus on her breathing, she noticed a deep sense of calm washing over her. After several minutes of practicing mindful breathing, Aria opened her eyes. She felt refreshed and rejuvenated, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Her anxiety seemed to have melted away, replaced by a sense of inner peace and tranquility. For the first time since arriving at the retreat, she truly felt connected to herself and the present moment. Aria turned to Ashok with a grateful smile. "That was amazing," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've never experienced anything like it." "It's a powerful practice," Ashok replied, his eyes crinkling at the corners in a warm smile. "Mindful breathing can help us become more aware of our bodies and minds, allowing us to let go of stress and anxiety. It's a great foundation for exploring other spiritual practices." As the session continued, Aria found herself looking forward to learning more about meditation and dreamwalking. She felt excited about the potential for personal growth and self-discovery that lay ahead, eager to embrace each new experience with an open heart and mind. Aria sat cross-legged on a plush meditation cushion, her eyes closed as she focused on the sensation of inhaling and exhaling. The calming water feature nearby created a soothing white noise, helping to clear her mind and enhance her focus. Ashok, her guide for this session, began by leading her through deep breathing exercises designed to help ground her in the present moment. After several minutes of practicing mindful breathing, Aria opened her eyes. She felt refreshed and rejuvenated, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Her anxiety seemed to have melted away, replaced by a sense of inner peace and tranquility. For the first time since arriving at the retreat, she truly felt connected to herself and the present moment. "I'm ready for the next step," Aria said, her voice steady and confident. "Teach me about transcendental meditation." Ashok smiled warmly. "Transcendental meditation is a form of meditation that involves the use of a mantra," he explained. "The mantra serves as a focus for your attention during meditation, helping you to reach deeper levels of consciousness and experience greater relaxation. As you repeat the mantra silently to yourself, your mind will become more still and focused." Aria listened intently, her curiosity piqued by Ashok's description of transcendental meditation. She felt excited about the potential for even greater inner peace and self-discovery that this practice might offer. "What kind of mantra should I use?" she asked, her eyes still closed as she focused on her breathing. "The mantra I'll give you is a traditional one," Ashok replied. "It's designed to help you access the transcendental state more easily. Just repeat it silently to yourself, letting the sound of the words guide your thoughts and emotions." Aria nodded, taking a deep breath before Ashok began to speak the mantra aloud. As his voice resonated through the meditation hall, she repeated the words to herself, allowing their meaning to fade away and replaced by the soothing rhythm of the sounds. Om Mani Padme Hum Om, Mani Padme Hum Om, Mani Padme Hum with each repetition. Aria felt her mind becoming more focused and calm. The mantra seemed to fill her entire being, washing away any lingering thoughts or distractions. As she continued to repeat the words, she began to notice a subtle shift within herself. Her body felt lighter, more at ease. Her mind became clearer, less cluttered by worries and doubts. After several minutes of practicing transcendental meditation with the mantra, Aria opened her eyes again. She felt as though she had stepped outside of her own consciousness, experiencing a profound sense of unity and interconnectedness with everything around her. Tears welled up in her eyes, not from sadness, but from an overwhelming feeling of gratitude and awe at the depths of her own being. "That was incredible," she whispered, struggling to find the words to describe her experience. "I've never felt so connected to myself and everything else before." Ashok smiled warmly, his eyes filled with pride and satisfaction. "Transcendental meditation can lead to powerful insights and experiences like this," he said gently. "It helps us remember our true nature and purpose in life, reminding us that we are all part of the same divine consciousness." Aria nodded, still processing the profound shift that had taken place within her during the meditation session. She knew that this practice would continue to guide her on her spiritual journey, helping her grow and evolve in ways she never thought possible. With a renewed sense of hope and determination, Aria looked forward to exploring more deeply the wisdom and teachings offered at the serene mountain retreat. Ashok smiled warmly as he sat across from Aria in the meditation hall. He had been observing her progress with genuine interest and admiration for her dedication to the practices they were learning. Today, he wanted to introduce her to a new technique that would help her cultivate even more love and compassion, not only towards others, but also towards herself. "Aria," he began, "I'd like to teach you about loving-kindness meditation today. This practice is all about developing genuine love and compassion for yourself and others." He paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. We'll start by focusing on ourselves and then expand our awareness to include those around us. Aria listened intently, her curiosity piqued by the idea of cultivating loving kindness towards herself. She had always struggled with self-love, finding it challenging to treat herself with the same kindness and understanding she offered to others. But as she looked into Ashok's wise eyes, she felt a spark of hope that perhaps this practice could help her overcome her emotional barriers. "Okay, let's begin," Ashok said, guiding Aria through a series of deep breathing exercises to help her settle into a calm and receptive state. Once she was centered, he began to speak the words of the loving kindness meditation. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. As Ashok recited these simple phrases, Aria repeated them silently to herself. At first she found it difficult to genuinely feel the love and kindness behind the words when directed towards herself. It felt fake or insincere, as if she didn't deserve such blessings. But with each repetition, she began to acknowledge her own worth and the importance of self-compassion. By the end of the meditation, Aria felt a subtle shift within herself, a small spark of love and acceptance that flickered like a candle in the darkness of her heart. After the meditation, Ashok invited Aria to share her experiences with him. She hesitated for a moment, unsure if she had truly connected with the practice as deeply as she hoped. But when she finally spoke, her words tumbled out in a rush of honesty and reflection. "I struggled with feeling genuine love and kindness towards myself during that meditation," she admitted. "It felt fake at first, like I didn't deserve it. But as I repeated the phrases, I started to see my own value and worth. It was dignity." Ashok nodded thoughtfully, understanding the challenges Aria faced all too well. Loving kindness meditation takes time and practice to develop genuine feelings, he explained. But with patience and persistence, you will find that your heart will open more and more each time you sit down to meditate. Aria nodded, feeling a mix of relief and determination at Ashok's words. She knew that cultivating loving kindness towards herself would be a lifelong journey, but she was grateful for the guidance and support he provided. As they continued their conversations about spiritual growth and personal transformation, Aria felt more aware of her emotional barriers and the need for self-acceptance and empathy. Real loving kindness, it seemed, was not something that could be forced or rushed. Rather, it blossomed organically over time as one's heart opened to the world around them. Aria walked back to her cabin after her conversation with Ashok, feeling a mixture of hope and uncertainty. She knew that cultivating loving kindness towards herself would not be easy, but she was determined to try. As she settled into her room, she began to think about the small acts of kindness Ashok had suggested she focus on over the next few days. Aria made a conscious effort to perform these random acts of kindness throughout the day, holding doors open for others, smiling at strangers, or offering genuine compliments. At first, it felt awkward and forced, but as time went on, she found that these small gestures brought a sense of connection and joy to both her and those around her. One afternoon, while walking through the serene gardens surrounding the retreat, Aria noticed an elderly woman struggling to reach a high-hanging bird feeder. Without hesitation, Aria stepped forward and helped the woman climb onto a nearby bench, giving her a boost to reach the feeder. The woman smiled warmly at Aria, her eyes twinkling with gratitude. As they chatted for a few minutes about the beautiful scenery and their reasons for being at the retreat, Aria felt a sense of warmth and belonging wash over her. Later that evening, as she lay in bed reflecting on the day's events, Aria realized that these small acts of kindness had not only made a positive impact on others, but also helped her feel more connected to the world around her. She understood now that cultivating loving kindness was not about achieving some lofty goal or reaching a state of permanent bliss. It was about making a conscious effort to be present and compassionate in every moment, starting with oneself. As she drifted off to sleep, Aria felt a newfound sense of hope for her spiritual journey, and the ability to overcome the emotional barriers that had once held her back. She knew that progress would take time and commitment, but with Ashok's guidance and the support of her fellow retreat participants, she was confident that she could continue to grow and evolve on this path towards self-discovery and enlightenment. Aria sat cross-legged on her bed, eyes closed as Ashok's soothing voice guided her through the dream-walking exercises. As she focused on her breath, she felt herself slipping into a state of deep relaxation. Gradually, images began to form in her mind. Vivid landscapes filled with lush forests and crystal-clear lakes. The colors were brighter than anything she had ever seen before, and the air seemed to hum with an invisible energy. Imagine yourself walking through this beautiful meadow. Ashok's voice whispered in her ear. Feel the soft grass beneath your feet. Smell the sweet scent of wildflowers. Allow yourself to become one with your surroundings. Aria took a deep breath and opened her eyes, finding herself standing in a breathtaking meadow filled with countless species of flowers. The sun cast warm rays upon her skin as she began to explore her newfound surroundings. Each step she took seemed to bring her closer to the heart of this spiritual realm. As she wandered through the meadow, Aria encountered various spiritual beings who radiated an aura of peace and wisdom. They were neither human nor animal, but rather a blend of both, their forms shimmering with an otherworldly light. These beings approached her with gentle smiles and offered guidance on her journey. You have come to this sacred place, seeking insight and growth, one being said, its voice as soothing as the rustling of leaves in the wind. Remember that everything in existence is interconnected. You are not separate from the universe. Another spiritual being shared a profound lesson about maintaining balance between the physical and spiritual aspects of life. To flourish on your earthly journey, you must nurture both your body and your soul. One without the other leads to imbalance and suffering. Aria listened intently to their words, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for these enlightening teachings. As she continued to explore the meadow, she found herself growing more and more in tune with the spiritual energy that surrounded her. She felt a powerful connection to the universe, as if she were an integral part of some grand cosmic plan. Eventually, the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the meadow. Aria looked around one last time, taking in the breathtaking beauty of this spiritual realm before turning her attention back to Ashok's voice. As she felt herself drifting back into her physical body, she couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and awe at the profound experiences she had just encountered. How do you feel after your first dream-walking experience? Ashok asked gently as Aria opened her eyes, sitting up on her bed. Words can't describe it, she replied, still catching her breath. It was incredible. I felt such a deep connection to the universe and learned so much from those spiritual beings. Aria looked at Ashok with newfound respect and gratitude for introducing her to this powerful practice. You have taken your first steps on a path filled with wonder and growth, Ashok said, smiling warmly. Continue to explore this realm, and you will find that each dream-walking experience brings new insights and wisdom to guide you along your spiritual journey. As the sun set over the mountain retreat, casting a warm glow upon the tranquil landscape, Ashok led Aria through a series of advanced dream-walking techniques. They sat cross-legged on their beds in the dimly lit dormitory, their eyes closed as they focused on their breathing and mental projections. Now, Ashok began, we will explore deeper into the spiritual realms. Imagine yourself surrounded by a warm, glowing light that emanates from within you. His voice was soft yet authoritative, guiding Aria through each step of this new journey. Aria followed his instructions, visualizing herself bathed in the golden radiance as it expanded outwards, enveloping her entire being. The sensation was both comforting and exhilarating. She felt as if she were about to embark on an incredible adventure. As they continued with these advanced techniques, Aria found herself transported into a labyrinthine city filled with towering structures that emitted divine light. The streets were lined with crystalline buildings, shimmering in every color of the rainbow, while ethereal beings flitted between them like shooting stars. Aria marveled at the beauty and complexity of this spiritual metropolis, her heart swelling with awe and wonder. As she wandered through its streets, she encountered wise beings who shared their knowledge and wisdom, offering guidance on the delicate balance between the physical and spiritual realms. One such encounter left a profound impact on Aria. She met an ancient being, its form resembling a blend of human and celestial elements, who showed her the consequences of imbalance between the two worlds. As it revealed the suffering that resulted from neglecting either aspect of existence, Aria felt a deep sense of responsibility wash over her. Determined to live a more harmonious life, Aria continued her exploration of this spiritual city, seeking out even more wisdom and insight. With each encounter she grew stronger and more connected to the universe, feeling empowered by her experiences and eager to delve deeper into the mysteries that lay before her. Finally, as the sun began to rise over the distant mountains, signaling the end of her dream-walking journey, Aria found herself drifting back to her physical body. As she opened her eyes, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. She knew that she had been granted a rare glimpse into the workings of the universe, and she vowed to use this knowledge to better herself and those around her. "How do you feel after experiencing these advanced dream-walking techniques?" Ashok asked softly as Aria sat up, still feeling the lingering effects of her spiritual adventure. Aria took a moment to gather her thoughts before responding, her eyes shining with determination. "I am filled with gratitude for this incredible experience," she said, her voice steady and strong. "It has shown me the importance of balance and harmony in our lives, and I am more committed than ever to living a life that honors both my physical and spiritual selves." Aria's journey at the mountain retreat came to a profound and transformative conclusion, marking a pivotal moment in her spiritual and personal growth. In the final days of the retreat, Aria faced her innermost challenges with newfound strength and clarity. The loving-kindness meditation, which had once seemed insurmountable, began to resonate with her. One evening, as she sat in the dimly lit meditation room, something shifted within her. The words, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering," suddenly took on a deeper meaning. In that moment, she felt a real surge of compassion for herself and others, a compassion that transcended her earlier doubts and frustration. This breakthrough was not just about mastering a meditation technique. It was a revelation about the nature of growth and self-acceptance. Aria realized that spiritual development was not a linear process, but a journey filled with ups and downs, moments of doubt followed by moments of clarity. She learned that true growth often occurs when one embraces their vulnerabilities and works through them with patience and perseverance. During the final dreamwalking session, Aria's experience was vivid and illuminating. She traversed through landscapes of her subconscious, encountering symbols and insights that revealed deeper understandings of her life. In these dreamscapes, she met representations of her fears and aspirations, each encounter teaching her valuable lessons about resilience, self-compassion, and the interconnectedness of all life. As the retreat came to an end, Aria felt a profound sense of transformation. She had arrived at the retreat seeking escape and healing, but found so much more. She discovered a deep connection to her inner self, a sense of peace and purpose that she had never known before. The bonds she formed with fellow participants, once marked by uncertainty, now stood strong, enriched by shared experiences and mutual growth. In her final conversation with Ashok, she expressed her gratitude. "You've guided me through a journey I never knew I needed," Aria said. Ashok smiled, his eyes reflecting wisdom and kindness. "Remember, Aria, the journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. Take what you've learned and let it guide you on your path." Aria left the retreat with a renewed spirit, carrying with her the lessons and experiences that had shaped her during her time on the mountain. The retreat had been more than a mere escape from the chaos of everyday life. It was a gateway to a new way of being, a journey towards inner harmony and understanding. As she descended the mountain, the golden light of dawn greeted her, symbolizing the start of a new chapter in her life. Aria stepped into the world with a heart full of hope, ready to live with mindfulness, compassion, and a deep connection to the universe around her. Her journey at the retreat was over, but her journey through life, enriched and enlightened, was just beginning. And thus Aria's journey, a testament to the transformative power of self-discovery and spiritual awakening, concluded, leaving an indelible mark on her soul and a lasting message about the beauty and complexity of human growth.